Once upon a time, very, very long ago, God created this wonderful place. He created the world. Very proud of his creation, he thought back and said, now let's do something even better. What will suit this world ideally? A bit of science, a bit of art, he put that together. He created a first great creation. He created men. Very proud of his creation. He sat back, he thought, he pondered. The art is working great. Why not create something like a masterpiece? He put two and two together and he created his next greatest creation, maybe a wonder of the world. He created women. Needless to say, from then on, the world has been very, very different. My name is Rajiv and this is Chennai Live. On this special day, of course, we celebrate Women's Day, but every single day we complain, we compliment, we criticize, and the best companion that anyone can have is a woman. Today on my show is a wonderful friend, I may call her, but more importantly, a wonderful icon for today's woman. She's a motivational speaker, identity advocate, entrepreneur, and she has so much to tell you because I believe in today's world, if you need a leader, then this one, she's on my left, but she's always right. Please welcome Miss Anjali Rajgopal. How are you?
Very well, Rajiv. I love that introduction.
I've been doing this for 15 years. I better be good at it.
And yes, I'm always right. So,
first of all, happy Women's Day to you.
Happy Women's Day right back.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, since you do have the pleasure of my company.
And before we move on and talk so much about Women's Day, now one thing that's very convenient is on this day, Anjali, we talk good about women, respect, love, fondness, care. We talk all good things. But after these 24 hours, the problem is mentality goes back to square one. And the truth is that square one is not a comfortable place for society, not just women, but also for men. Whether it's crime, whether it's equality, whether it's dignity, there's so much. And you speak about this every single day, Anjali.
I do.
Now, when you say that, you speak for society, and that's what I like. Now, Anjali, what is or who is today's woman? When you say, today's woman does this, today's woman is this. What was the problem with yesterday's woman that you think today is much better? But who is today's woman, Anjali? First of all, who's today's woman?
I think today's woman is no longer just a facilitator of men's success and men's lives. She is a product and complete entity in and of herself. So I think that's the first biggest difference. So today's woman, in serving herself and her own, contributing to her own best version, continues to be an excellent, a mother, a sister, a companion, a friend, and all of that. So it's not that she's moved past her yesteryear roles, it's just she does them better now.
You'll be shocked to know that what you say is your opinion, but data statistics, Anjali, speak quite different. In terms of divorce rates, that's gone up than whatever was. The upbringing of children, be it the happiness that children had in the 70s and the 80s, and the depression, the pressure, the social circle, the inferiority complex that children go through today, doesn't speak too high about the mother effect or the wife effect. We'll talk about that because at the end of it, it's not one gender to blame, it's society that covers it all. But we'll start off with what transpired and what made today's woman today. What was that? There's always something that ignites you from within. So what was that ignition that you think transformed society from yesterday to today? What was that?
I think the woman, as she evolved from the facilitator role that I was mentioning earlier, was driven by love and giving love and receiving love.
Correct.
I think the difference is now that women are driven by ambition.
So you're saying ambition is greater than love?
Ambition, I think, is equal to love. She's driven by ambition as well and not just by love, whereas I believe men were driven by both, and I think perhaps more by ambition than by love. But it was a very specific set of rules where the man achieved and the woman facilitated. Whereas now, each one is an entity in and of themselves, and I think that's what the woman has realized, a bit too late if you ask me, but and I think that's what she's pursuing. I don't think she's trying to be any less of a mother or any less of a sister.
Exactly.
She's just trying to be the best
more of an individual.
More of an individual.
And give herself the best she can in every field. Be it the mother, be it the friend, be it the sister, be it the daughter, be it the achiever.
And the CEO.
So this transition, do you think today's woman is all about herself, or is all about developing a better society? Because if a woman that, as you say, is not about a better society, I mean, obviously men and women will make a better society. So today's woman, how is it helping society as such?
In fact, it is helping society. Now, let me sort of go back to the earlier when the woman was just a facilitator role. That was a
It's not bad to be a facilitator. It's a great thing. Nothing can happen in society without a facilitator.
She continues to do that. It's just that now that she wants to do other things, it's become uncomfortable for other people. Okay, and
especially other people mean men.
So
there's no one else.
Nobody likes change, and men don't like it at all. So I think it's not about, I know we would like to call this a North-South pole kind of. The only shift that's happened is now she's trying to be better versions of herself. Now the thing is, women have always been good multitaskers. You know what I'm saying? Taken care of the home, they've cooked, they've bred, they've made children, they've done all of that. So why is that different from, say, being the CEO or taking care or driving your kid to school or having your husband do the dishes? It's not a big deal. The thing is, the shift is because it's made the other parties uncomfortable.
It doesn't make the other party uncomfortable. I would say when we say
Does
today's...
it not?
No, I don't think so. I think it makes the other party very proud. To be honest, I think so. Today when I sit across the table with you, you're a fantastic speaker, way better than the person sitting opposite you. You're a fantastic achiever. It makes me proud. It doesn't make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the problem is. It's a very competitive mindset that today's woman comes in with competition, not collaboration. When you say today's woman, you never use the word today's society. I think women and society and men go hand in hand. So when you talk about today's woman, we should be referring to today's society needs this. What do you think is the man's role in today's woman and today's society? Is it just discomfort, or is it more like we appreciate where you're going? I mean, at the end of it, you will appreciate where men are going, and men will appreciate. No one's above or behind the other. It's a journey together. I
do. I completely agree that collaboration is the name of the game. I think women are ready to collaborate.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that there is a certain level of discomfort in terms of with some of the men in society with the kind of changes that women are doing. Okay. And then you have very progressive men who are thrilled and celebrating and cheering.
Absolutely.
The women doing well.
That's how it should be.
Right. Now you say, for example, right now, like you're completely okay and having a good time, like with me across the table, and there is no competition whatsoever. But when we say start sharing a home or start sharing children or start sharing those kind of joint interests together, competition may or may not come into play. And I think that's what happens sometimes in marriages. And that's when you have a lot of women-men sort of friction, not just in the bedroom but in the boardroom.
This is a part of an educative process. This is life education, right? The way you handle society, the way men ought to encourage women, and vice versa. Don't you think this is not something that is discussed on TV channels and YouTube alone or radio, but this in fact is educated in school? Don't you think that's where society actually starts, grows and develops?
100% agree with you. I think gender roles, especially in a culture, in a country like ours, if it was part of, say, primary education or whatever, to understand mutual respect, collaboration, the actual difference between men and women, because I know that a lot of people like to say men and women are absolutely equal. Maybe not in some ways in physical or emotional capabilities, but are the opportunities the same? They should be.
Correct.
But the choices should be
in school. They still tell you stories in your English classes and all the classes. They tell that the man went to work and the lady looked after home. So we still are in that phase where people are taught, young kids are taught this, which I think when things have changed so much, it starts at the grassroots. It starts at the education. Now when we talk about yesterday's woman, today's woman, and what lies for tomorrow's woman, when you look at today's woman, is it like they're perfect? Or do you say, wait, there is a problem and we're trying to get that better?
100% work in progress, Rajiv.
What is the progress that needs to be done?
The progress is called balance. I think that
So there is a lack of balance today?
There can be.
Okay.
There can be. We are still a dichotomous society where, when you meet the family, you dress differently. When you meet the friends, you dress differently. When you meet the husband to be, you dress differently. When you meet the boyfriend, you dress differently. So the question is, so the dichotomy
But ma'am, yeah, exactly. When you're a wife, you dress differently. When you're a mistress, you dress gorgeously.
So the dichotomy is sort of much deeper rooted than just the woman form herself. But can a woman find balance in this? She can.
So what is the man's role in this? So far, we've spoken about women fighting, women changing, women different roles, different mindsets, different priorities. What is the man's role in this, or lack of his role in this?
I think men, first let me tell you where they fall short is that they enjoy their comfort. I think that they give a lot of lip service as to what they think is the woman should have and what she should. Those are all theoretically excellent. Okay, but that means they have to actually change the seat. Okay, but nobody wants, but the men don't want to give up the driver's seat, right? And we're not saying women want the driver's seat necessarily. They just may want to sit next to the AC or they may want the window seat. But the men aren't willing to, while they verbally say they would like this and that, when it comes to themselves changing their orientation, they're often not willing to. You know, so that's where sometimes the issue arises with men.
That's where conflict comes in.
That's where conflict comes in.
When you are in a comfort zone and you don't want to move away from that.
Correct, because if she stops doing something and goes to work, that means you need to step in and do something. So if you don't like doing the dishes, then we have a problem. Right? So unless we find a nanny or a maid or somebody, I mean, I'm not trying to be like, stratified, but I'm just saying, unless there is a
These
solution.
are where the daily issues.
Because it always, the God and the devil lies in the details.
But let's talk about yesterday's woman as well as we talk about today's. Do you find all fault in yesterday's woman, or do you actually look back and say, you know what, in the 60s, 70s, or the impression that people had of women that time, they had these qualities, they had these attributes, and that's something that you still stick by because that's the beauty of what it was. Do you still look back at yesterday's woman and say, that was brilliant, and I hope that continues? Because you don't want tomorrow's society looking back at today and saying, that was crap, I don't want that to continue.
I think there was a certain level of
patience,
emotional integrity that women had at that time, like they knew their roles as moms or as wives or as facilitators. Absolutely. To come back. Correct. And I don't know if I can say, they made their peace with that because that's all they knew. Right? So I'm not in a position to say
that's a very difficult thing to do, to be so selfless, to be so giving, to be so sacrificing your life for someone who doesn't even value it. At that point of time, children take a mother's love for granted. The husband takes the wife's time for granted. To know that all that you're putting in every day, the effort, the sweat, the love that you're giving is taken for granted, and to still live with that is quite giving, is quite courageous, is quite strong. No?
Correct, but I'm not I don't want to celebrate a wasted effort. Right? So I'm not going to give somebody a gold medal for doing something stupid. Right?
But they did it for themselves, not necessarily for give me a like, give me a follower, give me 2-3 credentials and give me few comments. Today's world is about that. I'm doing it so the world sees it. I'm doing it because you need to acknowledge me. Look at me, I'm perfect. But that time it was about me and my family.
Why would she make the dal that her husband liked, over the dal that she liked? Still acknowledgement.
That's love, right? What you said, we go back to where we started.
It's the same thing. I mean, I'm not saying a follower and a husband's love is the same. So let me.
You get one husband, you get million followers.
You let me. But I just want to. But what I'm saying is just, what are we doing it for? Or what were they doing it for? Was it for love? I think that there was a sense of, is it something to say that, they sacrificed and hence that is something to be glorified? Even that glory they did not see. That's my whole point. Me and you are talking about it. That person is dead and gone. And that family is probably flourished from generation to generation. The question is, who's acknowledging it? Who's celebrating it? Did she go to sleep at night happy or did she go to sleep at night sad? You and me don't know the answer to that. Correct. And I have my doubts. Now I think that there's a little bit of conflict.
You're being very kind to your words. You're being very kind to your words. Because the numbers are not kind enough, ma'am. Let's talk about marriages, alright? In the 80s and in 2020, divorce rate has gone up by 33%. Let's not blame women. Let's blame marriage. That the main reason for divorce is marriage. Right? But if you look at this rate, that 33% has shot up. Who's to be blamed? Personal ambitions have changed. Lack of adjustment has changed, or is it that people don't care too much for relationships anymore? Because in the 80s they sacrificed their life. Today you can't sacrifice a day.
I come from a family with two loving parents who have been married for 40 years, and we marvel at the fact that they are so young and vibrant at heart. And all women are trying to do is, I think what's most important is trying to be independent, to earn their own money, not get married because they need to pay, need to buy clothes or whatever. Get married for love. Not because you need to get taken care of. That would be a great shift. Absolutely. I think it's starting to happen. I think women are also, especially Indian women, I mean, given that we are born from the land of maths, with a lot of brainy women out here who don't see their potential. You see what they're doing in science, and engineering and whatever. That's if you allow them to follow the academic path, and then you have women in business.
Now that's a wonderful, see, the role of a lady in the world of the corporate side, business, is brilliant today. I think today is the best it ever has been. Let's talk about one role which I personally love, respect the most, which is the role of a mother. Now, would you think that yesterday's mother was a lot more attentive, caring, grooming in the right direction towards the children, or is today's parent who is basically very competitive, learn more, get more, grow faster, be competitive in that kind of environment, take your technology? Is this version a better one, or is that one a better one?
That's actually a very good question. So I think the earlier one was, if I were to be selfish as a child, the better parent, because she was the better parent at a cost to herself. Okay, somebody bears the cost.
Yeah.
Today's parent is wise, has their own ambitions for themselves, for you, and is vicariously living their lost ambitions through you as well. So that's also
Today's
happening.
mother is complicated, yeah.
You know, I think now the world has become more competitive. So the kid is also like, I don't want to say a pair of shoes or like a bag, but you want the kid to be first in class, first in swimming, first in tennis. And I think
and show your neighbors, show your friends, show the other family friends that, look, my child knows this language, knows to play this instrument, knows to play this sport. It's become like, this is my proof that I'm a great mother. This is what my child is. Like my award, my certificate. He knows this. Do you think it's become like that? Or?
I think today's parents, today's moms, okay, are more pushy, and I think it is, for me personally, I think that's fine. But the only area where it goes south is when the kid can't take it, and there is, that little bit of confusion. And
we spoke about today's mom. What about today's dad?
Today's dad, from what I have seen, Rajiv, I have seen a lot of today's dads actually to be a little bit different.
More hands-on.
More hands-on. I will give them credit, and not grudgingly. Happily give them the credit. I have seen them.
That's
want
collaborative.
To do, I've seen them want to do things, because I grew up in a generation where the dad was earning and was very busy setting up something, and the mother was a soccer mom. Now when I see my friends, my classmates parenting, they're very, very split the roles, and I find fathers enjoying making the kids school and dropping them like a priority, like they enjoy it. And I can't remember this happening, like no blame to any father out there, but just saying.
Like you said, today's woman might not be the perfect. There's a little bit of imbalance. That's the word you use. I'm sticking to that word, right? I'm not putting words in your mouth. Imbalance is what you said. So tomorrow's woman needs what? Or what are you grooming? Because when people listen to you, they're adapting to you. We talk about lack of icons or heroes. We'll come to that. When someone looks at you, what are you trying to groom? Who are you trying to groom? In what direction are you trying to change them?
I think definitely today's woman and tomorrow's woman, and even yesterday's, I have seen a lot of positive reaction from women who are in their 40s and 50s who absolutely love what I have to say and sort of have found their second wind, because I'm all about comebacks. Okay, I've had multiple comebacks, multiple chapters, and I continue to worry people about what I'm going to do next. But the question is, it's not about what I'm going to do next. What you can be sure of is that I'll do it well. As long as they you really have to put your full effort into it. Okay, you're not going to get a handicap because you're a woman. So, but my point is, I find that women do need to often choose, prioritize, and focus, and have the patience to put in the work day in and day out to see the fruits, because it's not like an instant gratification follower or a like. I feel like they need to make choices. You can't have everything. So that is something that they need to understand. Okay, you want to be the MD, you cannot put in that many hours at home with maybe the man of your dreams. So you need to make some choices. So the thing is, you can't be, dip your toe in the water and keep standing there and saying, I'm Michael Phelps. You're not. Because working hard doesn't replace working smart, and working smart doesn't replace working.
Let's go back to the most famous line: with great power comes great responsibility. When you have so much of power, which means your one photo, your two words, your one thought can change the way people perceive the day or the issue or the person. If you don't use that responsibly, I think that's a problem. What is your take on social media in terms of women projecting themselves? What is the statement and influencers trying to bring out? What do you see?
I think the problem is in that statement itself is that most influencers don't have a message, right? So if it's just
They have one ice cream. Please try this new ice cream tub. It's very tasty. See the food in this restaurant. It's great. Yeah.
It's just see, lifestyle is part of keeping the. I understand that content has to keep moving. Everybody has a lifestyle. You want to project that. But what is your central theme?
Correct.
Who are you?
What are you
do
standing
stand
for? Exactly. Okay.
So I find a lot of them stand for nothing, and it's just a little irritating. But
Instagram rightly says it, real. When it's unreal, they call it real. To all the women who are watching you and the men, remember it is collaboration, not competition. So what is it that you'd like to tell them before we sign things off? Not just today being Women's Day, but generally the respect, love and adulation that women need or deserve or desire every day.
I think to stay away from being trite, and a lot of people are talking about self-love and stuff like that. I think women are on their way to understanding who they are, but I think they need to take one more step in the new decade, and all I'm saying is don't take no for an answer. Just don't.
And ambition equal to love.
Yes, equal to is where we will leave it.
No one's higher, no one's lower. It's a word of equality.
It is.
And may it continue to be that way. Thank you very much. Once again, wishing you a very happy Women's Day. Thank you.
It was a pleasure being here.